At my sister's engagement party, 50 guests, Dad lifted his glass. To our successful daughter, our pride and joy. Then he smirked at me. And you? Still in love with that poor farmer? I kept eating, silent, until my boyfriend stood, and my sister's future father-in-law blurted, "Wait, that's you?" Then the whole room went dead quiet. My family has practiced law for 3 generations. My grandfather opened the firm in 1962. My father grew it into 15 attorneys and a corner suite. The waiting room has framed photographs of every Patterson who ever passed the bar. Grandfather in his pinstripe suit, Dad with his Harvard diploma, my sister at her Penn Law graduation, beaming like she'd fulfilled some prophecy. I'm not in any of those photographs. At 19, when I said I wanted nursing school instead of law school, something closed in my father's face that never opened again. My mother said, "Mitchell, what will we tell the Hendersons?" The Hendersons were family friends. Lawyers, naturally. I chose nursing. That was my first sin. My second was bringing Jake. Jake drives a dented Chevy. His boots always have mud on them. My dad shook his hand once, heard farmer, and lost interest mid-sentence. Jake finished his dinner, helped clear the table, and said nothing on the drive home. That should have told me everything. I knew how the night would go the moment I saw the seating chart. Table 1, my sister, her fiancé, his parents, my parents. Tables 2 through 7, attorneys, doctors, people worth impressing. Table 9, me and Jake, near the kitchen exit. No floral centerpiece, no gold trim on the name cards, just a candle and the kitchen doors swinging every time a server walked through. Jake looked at the chart, looked at me, put his hand on my lower back, and said nothing. He never performs his feelings. He just adjusts and keeps moving. We sat, 50 people in cocktail attire talking about cases and summer homes. My parents leaned toward Philip's father all night, laughing at everything he said. My father's toast started the way all his toasts start, controlled, warm in that practiced way. He talked about legacy, building something that lasts. He looked at my sister with genuine pride. I don't begrudge her that. She earned it. He talked about Philip, 2 dynasties joining together. Then his eyes found me in the corner. "And you," he said, voice soft, pointed, the smile still on his face like a mask that bit just well enough. "Still in love with that poor farmer?" A few people chuckled, polite, nervous. 50 heads turned toward table 9. I picked up my fork, cut a piece of salmon, put it in my mouth and chewed. My hands were completely steady. I'd practiced being steady around my father for 27 years. Then Jake stood up. No dramatic scrape of the chair, no raised voice. He just rose slowly, the way you stand up in church, deliberate, unhurried, like he had every right to be upright in that room while everyone else was sitting. My father frowned. "Is there something you'd like to add?" Before Jake could answer, a chair scraped back hard from table 1. Philip's father, Judge Henry Ashford, 22 years on the federal bench, stood up, crossed the entire length of the room, stopped in front of our table, and stared at Jake like his brain couldn't catch up with his eyes. "Wait," his voice dropped. "Jake Merritt?" Jake nodded once. The judge exhaled like something had clicked. He turned to my father, and whatever warmth had been in his expression all evening was gone. "Mitchell, do you know who this man is?" My father smiled carefully. "He's Stephanie's. He's the chair of the Merritt Family Foundation, one of the largest private rural health trusts in the country. 11 hospitals, 40-some rural clinics. I've been trying to get him on my advisory council for 2 years, and he keeps saying no." The room was absolutely still. My father's champagne glass was still raised. There was nowhere left to go with it. Someone at table 4 said quietly, "The Merritt Foundation, they funded our hospital's entire new wing." The judge wasn't finished. "Last year they committed $18 million to rural health infrastructure." He looked at Jake. "You turned down a corporate board seat to keep running the clinic expansion." Jake said nothing. He never explains himself to rooms that didn't bother to ask about him. My father set his glass down. We didn't know." The judge looked at him with the patience of a man who has heard too many weak arguments in his courtroom. "You didn't ask," he said. The sound of 50 people not breathing filled the room. My father opened his mouth, closed it. My mother's fingers found her pearl bracelet and held it like it was the only solid thing left. I looked at Jake. He was already looking at me. He sat back down, picked up his fork, and in the same quiet way he does everything, reached under the table and took my hand. Nobody made another toast. Full story on the channel, linked below.